Welcome to the deep dive. Today we're tackling the Mediterranean diet, the MD. It's really well known, obviously.
Right. Lots of evidence behind it.
But I think the key thing for people to grasp is it's not really one specific diet plan someone invented.
Exactly. It's more like a collection of traditional ways of eating from all around the Mediterranean.
Yeah, different cultures, different habits.
Yeah.
It's actually recognized by UNESCO.
As intangible cultural heritage, yeah. Which is pretty amazing.
So our goal today, I think, is to give you the shortcut. Let's unpack the history of how it got recognized.
And then really dig into the science, the modern stuff that explains why it works. You know, the longevity, the low disease rates.
Okay, history first. Where does the modern science part begin? Ansel Keys.
Yeah, back in the 60s, the 7-country study, that was really foundational.
And Keys was initially focused on, was it saturated fat? Avoiding it.
That was the main thrust, yeah. He saw low heart disease in places like Crete, southern Italy, and linked it partly to lower saturated fat intake compared to, say, the U.S. or Northern Europe at the time.
But that thinking evolved quite a bit, didn't it?
Massively. The big shift came much later with the pre-dimed trial. Huge study.
Right. And pre-dimed found what? It wasn't about less fat.
Pretty much the opposite in a way. It found the benefit wasn't fat restriction. It was all about the quality of the fat.
That's the surprising part. Like they actually had groups eating quite a lot of fat.
Yeah, really high. Up to what, 42% of their calories from fat?
Wow.
But it was high-quality fat, mainly extra virgin olive oil, EVOO, or nuts.
And that reduced bad outcomes.
Significantly. Stroke mortality dropped by about 30% in those high good fat groups.
So the type of fat, MUFAs, PUFAs, that's everything.
Monounsaturated, polyunsaturated fats, that's the core, replacing the less healthy saturated and trans fats.
Okay, so if good fat is the foundation, what's the rest of the structure look like? The pyramid idea.
Right, the pyramid. Base is all plant foods eaten daily, lots of vegetables, fruits, especially the darker ones for antioxidants.
All grains too, right? Like farro, barley.
Absolutely. And legumes, beans, lentils, nuts and seeds. And EVOO is the principal fat used everywhere.
Instead of butter or other oils.
Completely.
Yeah.
Then moving up the pyramid, you get protein.
Fish and seafood seem key here.
Definitely preferred. At least twice a week. For the omega-3s mainly.
And red meat.
Very limited, maybe a few times a month at most. Same for sweets and processed stuff minimized.
And it's not just food, is it? The lifestyle.
Social context.
Yeah.
Daily activity, yeah. But also the social aspect. Eating together. Mindful consumption. It's all part of the package.
Okay, structure covered. Let's get into the why. The mechanisms. How does this actually fight inflammation at a biological level?
Okay, 2 really sophisticated mechanisms stand out. First is vascular protection.
Protecting blood vessels.
Exactly. The antioxidants and these things called phytochemicals, mainly from the EVOO and all the produce, they actively dial down certain molecules on our immune cells. VSECAM and ICAM are the key ones.
ESAM, ICAM.
Yeah.
What do those do in simple terms? Like graphic lights?
Sort of. They're cell adhesion molecules. They basically make immune cells stick to the blood vessel walls.
Which causes problems.
Yeah. It promotes inflammation in the vessel lining. That is endothelial dysfunction, a first step towards atherosclerosis, hardening of the arteries.
So the diet helps calm that down.
Right. It downregulates VCM and ICAM. Less stickiness, less inflammation.
Okay, that's one. What's the second big mechanism?
The gut microbiome. This is huge now in research.
Right. All the fiber.
All that fiber from the legumes, the whole grains, the vegetables. It feeds the good bacteria in your gut.
And they produce?
Short-chain fatty acids, SCFAs, things like butyrate.
Okay. And SCFAs are important because?
They're fuel for the cells lining your gut. They strengthen the gut barrier.
Preventing leaks, like leaky gut.
Essentially, yeah. It reduces systemic inflammation because fewer inflammatory triggers get from the gut into your bloodstream. Super important for preventing chronic diseases overall.
So if you put the MD next to the typical Western diet, the contrast is pretty stark.
Night and day, really. MD is pushing MU-ASP-UFAs, helping good HDL cholesterol.
While the Western diet often loads up on saturated and trans fats.
Which boosts the bad LDL cholesterol. Plus, the Western diet is typically low fiber, low antioxidant.
High in processed foods.
Which just fuels that chronic low-grade inflammation we talked about, not great for life expectancy.
The good news, though, is you don't need a total life rebuild to start getting benefits.
Absolutely not. Simple swaps make a big difference.
Well,
just switching your main cooking fat to EVO, that's huge.
What else?
Swap white rice or bread for whole grains, bulgur, farro, quinoa, whole wheat bread.
Easy enough. And maybe replace a meat meal or two.
with lentils or beans or chickpeas, plant-based protein, really simple shifts.
So tying it all together,
Yeah.
the MD isn't just a list of foods. It's rooted in, like, local, seasonal eating.
Minimal processing, reflecting the cultures of, what, 16 different countries?
Right, and we've seen how the benefits are tied to that whole picture. The food, the lifestyle, the social part.
Which brings us to a final thought for you to consider. Given how deeply traditional and, well, cultural this pattern is,
And how powerful convenience is in our modern world.
what are the real challenges in truly adopting this cultural heritage way of eating within today's globalized, industrialized food system? Something to chew on.